So in a surprise move, Pennsylvania's Supreme Court overturned his sexual assault conviction, saying his due process rights were violated. Now, his conviction back in 2018 was the first in a string of victories for the Me Too movement. So let's bring in Chow Win with the Houston's Women's Center and attorney Leticia Quinones. Good morning to both of you. And Leticia, we'll start with you. Do you agree with the district attorney that the conviction was overturned on a technicality?
It is procedural in nature, for sure. I think it says a lot in regards to the Pennsylvania Supreme Court and how they handled the decision. There clearly was an agreement between the prosecutor and Mr. Cosby before these charges were brought, and for them to uphold that decision and agreement was spot on.
Well, have you heard of a case getting overturned because of what appears to be sort of an informal promise? It seems like this would be very rare.
Well, Sally, actually it is rare because most of the time prosecutors keep their word. The word between, or the agreements between prosecutors and defense attorneys, whether it's in writing or whether it's oral, is crucial to the criminal justice system. They must be able to rely on each other. So yes, it is rare because prosecutors normally do not go back on their word.
I see. Chow, let me bring you in. Andrea Constand, one of the more than 60 Cosby accusers, said she's worried that this will discourage survivors of sexual assault from seeking justice. Is that something that, immediately came to your mind as well?
Yes, we are very concerned that survivors will be discouraged after hearing the word of this verdict overturned. I know that we are talking about the rule of law, but this does not feel like justice. Survivors listening to a high-profile case like this may be very discouraged from speaking out. The Me Too movement was about using your voice, sharing your voice, telling your story. And for the women who spoke in this case, it took a lot of courage. Can you imagine the reaction they get on social media, the comments? That's what we're hearing from our clients. When this news broke out yesterday, we heard from a number of clients during support groups talking about it and talking about how it's triggering their own memories of their own sexual assault and feeling discouraged, as sort of a shaking my head moment about what happened.
Leticia, I understand he cannot be retried again, but what does he face legally, going forward now?
Actually, Sally, at this point, there's really not a whole lot he can face legally. Most of the claims, the statute of limitations had run. I believe in Pennsylvania, the statute of limitation is about 12 years. And so none of the claims outside of Ms. Constand was right for the statute of limitations. So I don't believe that there's any legal recourse at this point.
What about civil lawsuits? Is that something that still comes into play?
Well, I believe there was a civil lawsuit with Ms. Constand previously. There's also statute of limitations on civil lawsuits as well. And so most of these claims were happening around the 80s, late 80s, early 90s. And 30 years later, you just can't sue someone for something that occurred 30 years, and you can imagine the reason why.
Right. All right. Leticia Quinones and Chow Win with the Houston Women's Center. Reach out to them if you are in need of help. Thank you both for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Sally. Have a good day.
You too.